Hey, Gen Chem Nation. In this video segment, we'll be talking about kind of the ebb and flow of lecture. I know I've already discussed certain pieces of this, excuse me, within other videos, but um, remember that, from our class time, what are we going to do? And so just as a reminder, we're going to be, having lecture concepts being discussed by myself. Usually I do short, lecture material, followed by then in class, um, homework problem solvings where we, take time out and, we, actually work on problems together as a class or individually, depending on our style. So, um, just to talk about how the class is going to flow is, normally in the beginning of class, I'll, before even class even starts, I'll be playing some music, hanging out down at the front of the hall. Um, I ask, if you do have a question, you can walk down, but realize that also too, I am trying to get ready for the lecture presentation, which does require a lot of uh, technology interaction sometimes. But I don't have a problem, having a minute to sit and listen. Um, And then once class begins, here is where we're going to be talking about this new project, which is called, basically mindfulness, and meditative aspects to helping us relax, helping us to resolve anxiety, and in the sciences, and that's because well we're in chemistry. So this is a study that I'm doing with some other colleagues, and it's voluntary. It's voluntary, but realize the first 5 minutes of each class will probably be devoted to some type of meditative process. And if you're not into it, that's fine. You don't have to do it. But I would also ask that if you're not participating, to respect the other people in the classroom, your peers that are participating. So that means not having group conversations in the backfield while other students are trying to work on this mindfulness scenario. Um, and I'm a firm believer in meditation, so I think it's a good sort of technique to explore and possibly learn. You possibly might get something out of it, especially when you know stress levels rise, exams come up, and stuff like that. These can be nice tools to help relax our nature. So that's how the first 3 to 5 minutes will start for the class. And then we'll get into chemistry, right? I'll do some short lecture segments. And then, like I said, doing then, assigning problems at, like here's number 113, let's work on it, and give the student body, you know, 5 minutes or, sometimes these questions are longer, 10, 15 minutes, to work on. And it's not that I want us to work individually. I want a really good course discussion or class discussion. I'm sorry, meaning that you're welcome to talk to your neighbor, front or back, what have you, um, and at the end of that time frame, and actually, I normally like to play a little bit of music during that time period too to help us all relax and just kind of be social, but focused with doing work. Then I'll start to poll the class, like who's got an answer, who wants to step up and play the game. And it's not that you have to show the solving method. It's just what I ask students to do is participate. Say, this is the answer I got. This is the answer I got. And it's never judgmental. Everyone gets questions wrong. This type of thing, and everyone gets questions right. But what I do ask is, that you don't feel comfortable to say, hey, this is the number I got. And and sometimes with the numbers, I can automatically say like, okay, yeah, that's good, but you missed this little piece, what have you. But then after the student that gets finally the question correct, or the answer correct, then I will walk through the entire problem to make sure that everybody has an understanding of what's going on. So that's how that ebb and flow of class is going to happen, is basically, these kind of this little self-mindfulness at the very beginning, then small lectures, coupled with then, class problem sets that we will be doing and discussing during class. In terms of what's coming your way, realize that, and I know I don't have it yet posted, but in the course home, um, which is normally where you come into Brightspace, I will be posting announcements after each class. After each class, I will post, okay, this is what we covered in class. Here's a PDF document of that. Here's a video document of that. And here's what we will be talking about the next class. So I will do that after each class, and then also I will do one at the end of the week. So I will tell you at the end of the week, like on Thursday or Friday, okay, here is what we're covering next week. So I give you, what's coming up in terms of the future week. But then when we're in that current week, I'm also reminding you of what's coming your way. And so we'll find that in the new announcements. And I'm still working on the calendar. It's still a little bit wonky for me. And again, remember, Brightspace is a new platform for us here at UVM. So I'm hoping to also have those types of reminders within the calendar. But we do have one there, Pick Your Scientist. So I'm working on that piece. But announcements is something that I really do use a lot in the past in terms of Blackboard, and you should be getting an email announcements in your inbox. As far as like, you don't have to keep checking here, you should be getting an email saying, "Oh, here's the announcement." And that announcement will include hyperlinks, like I said, to what was covered today, as well as what, hyperlinks as to what's coming our way later in the week or even the next week. So if we go back to contents and activities, just to reiterate where these assignments are coming from, they're coming from that table of contents under the second heading of assignments. And so even though you will see these in announcements broken down, here is like the full set. So if we go into module 2, let's say, which is chapter 2, kind of more of a historical perspective, if we go to the bottom, we have the assignment module. And so this is where you can get the videos, watch the videos, and see all of it laid out in terms of the entire chapter. So I do like music, so you'll see music videos. Please feel free to to watch or not, or listen or not. But basically, it starts with like part 1, part 2, part 3. We see in blue, we see lecture videos. So lecture 1, module 2, so chapter 2, and then we see also the sections in chapter 2 that this video actually covers. In red, we see practice homework, and that practice homework is from the end of the textbook and is directed directly to the video that we're looking at. And then sometimes, not always, in purple, we see then extra videos. And these are videos of really me doing homework problems on a screen to help you with, maybe your homework as you're doing it. So if we're having a trouble with the law of definite proportions, well, there is a video that will allow us to maybe get better insight on it. So part 2, part 3, right? Part 2 is isotopes, and then part 3 we get into the mole and Avogadro's number. And as you can see, there's this repetitiveness with the blue in terms of the lecture that we're in, and the module / chapter that we're in, as well as in red under the video, which is the practice homework that is directly related to that video. And then in purple, what could be extra help videos that might help us while we're doing our homework and doing our practice. At the very end of each module, there are what I call some just a little bit more difficult problems. So these test your metal problems. And so those there are in red as well. as well as in a link to the full lecture notes that I would use in class. Um, but these are the lecture notes that I've actually used to create all these videos. So you can choose the PDF version, or you can choose the more discussion method with the actual video links. So that's the idea. So when it comes to our assignment, again, after each class, I will post, what we covered, but then I'll say, okay, this is what we're doing the next class or the next week. And what it will entail are these lecture videos that we see with the blue headings, coupled with then the homework that we find in red, as well as the purple, help links. And so I will be posting those all within announcements as well. So it's not like you have to come to this assignments page that we have here within the table of contents, but just so that you know that this is the repository of all those assignments. So you can always come to assignments and go to any chapter you want to see, where you're at, what's going on, review a video, do extra problems, etc. And again, all that is going to always be under that course home in terms of my announcements. And then filling out hopefully the calendar. Still working on that one. But I'm sure I'll get it figured out. And that's just a brief introduction into the ebb and flow of class. Hopefully that helps prepare us for what's coming our way next week. I look forward to meeting all of you.